Have you ever done, or better yet, ever thought about homeschooling your kids? It is becoming more popular, no doubt. We're going to talk to somebody who just signed the paperwork and is going to be homeschooling their children at least for the next year. The one and only Casey from Brick by Brick. How you doing, Casey?
I am doing really good, Michael. And I have to say, this homeschooling thing that I just went full force and I said, I'm going to do it. I signed the papers, I submitted to the school district, and it's official.
It's official. So let's remind the folks, what ages are your kids?
So Cody is 6. He'll be going into first grade. Jace is 10. He'll be going into fifth grade. And Juliet is 13. She'll be going into eighth grade.
And to be clear, are we homeschooling all three or just the first grader?
All three.
Oh, going into the deep end. All right. So I want to talk about the kids first, especially the teenager, right? That's going to be it's first, the first grader and the teenager, that's going to be a very different experience, right? She's been in school for quite a while, probably has her circle of friends, probably has figured it out. What kind of conversation you had with her? Because I'm sure you asked her. You may not have asked the first grader, right? You're going to do what mom says, but the 13-year-old, I'm imagining there was a conversation.
Yes. So I asked all the kids, and this has started probably about last fall. I said, so what do you guys think about maybe homeschooling next year? And some parents, when with things in life, they are this is adult conversation, only adult information. Kids only hear kids. We're a very open family. I talk about everything in front of my kids. Things I plan to do, things I don't plan to do, ideas, whatever, business stuff, whatever. Things that I'll talk things out and then not follow through with things, because sometimes you need to talk it out to see if it's something you want to do. So I think at this point last year, they're thinking, oh, mom's just like, this is not going to happen. She's just like talking something through again, I was like, no, what do you guys think if we homeschooled? And Juliet, my oldest, the 13-year-old, or she was 12 at the time, she said, I want to homeschool. And I'm like, I was surprised because she's the most involved. She's in band. She's got straight A's. She's in, you know, student council. She's involved in all sorts of stuff. And I'm surprised that the one that's the most
Wow.
involved, doing the best in school, wants to homeschool.
Hmm.
I'm thinking she thinks it's going to be easier, maybe, but
Maybe.
she knows me. Come on, it's going to be harder. What are you talking about? And then my two boys were like, we don't want to homeschool. We want to go to school because we like our friends. So what I said to them was, look, as school goes on, it's less recess, less fun. Like it's hard, and it's not like it's fun anymore. But the little one, of course, he was in kindergarten this year. He loved, and to me, that was the hardest, because he's the littlest. School's so cute and fun. You just get to play and be with friends and, learn to read and do some math and explore outside at school and do all sorts of stuff. The middle one, all my kids are doing great in school. So nobody has any learning disability. Nobody is getting bullied at school. They're quote thriving at school in every other sense. They've all got great grades. They love school. They love going. It's not a chore to get them to go. No one's getting harassed. So for me, wanting to take them out of school is not because of those reasons. There's a whole bunch of other reasons. But the middle son, he was the most that he didn't want to go. And he's 10. He was in fourth grade because he wanted to be with his friends, was really it. But he doesn't speak up as much in class, although he does talk. And he gets A's and B's, but he's not they're not pushing him. He's very smart. But the teachers just don't really care too much. It's like, well, everyone's gonna do the same thing. But he likes school, but it's not doing him any favors. You know what I mean? It's not like my daughter, where she's actually doing really well in school. My son's just coasting along. So it's like, you want to stay in school because you just want to play football at recess, but you only get one recess. So
Right. And those are going to go away. Yeah, those are going to go away,
bro.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. So from the kids' perspective, they're thriving. There's no real, there's no drama going on with bullying or anything of that nature. So it must be maybe mom and dad. It's like, what did you guys see either in the curriculum or the nonsense that's going on with the education system that you're like, hey, because again, you're going to take on more responsibility, right?
Yeah.
You already do a lot, but now you're going to take on responsibility for education. So what was it that you were seeing that you even considered this?
So it's a lot of things. there's school things, there's socioeconomic factors too that go into it. But let's start with school. So we live in a really great school district outside of Memphis. We're in Germantown, top-notch schools, right? So people rent here like as much as they can for schools because they're so good, phenomenal. I don't think so. They're not that great. They're not that great. And last year I had a problem with my daughter's math teacher. And when I brought it to administration was not there for me. They were not, the vice principal was there for the teachers, and she's not there for the kids.
Okay.
My daughter's in all honors classes and rich programs and all of that. And they told her that because we had a problem with some math work last year. And the vice principal said, your daughter is in honors. She should figure out on her own and not need help. Now, the teacher went rogue and got her own curriculum from the internet and was downloading stuff. All I was asking for was sample problems so I could help her at home. And she refused to give me sample problems with answers. And there was no book, so I couldn't even look up the book and the math stuff online or YouTube. So like things like that would go on. So to me, the administration is no bueno, and I don't like it. I also don't like a lot of the weird stuff that goes on in school. For example, in one of the other junior highs in our district, there was a furry, and there was a girl who would dress up like a cat, and she would bring her litter box from class to class. So this girl would be going to the same high school that my daughter would be going to in 9th grade. And okay, be who you want to be, but let's also think of how this is affecting and the other kids that aren't like that.
Wow.
What that is sharing with my daughter and other kids is that the administration and teachers are not being respected. When children can walk around in costumes and act like animals and bring litter boxes, right? You're showing the other kids that it's acceptable behavior and that the teachers can't do anything about it. Teachers and admin gets walked on all over by all these new woke crap rules. Okay. They get walked all over. Gives me the chills. They get so mad about this stuff. And it's like, people love me or hate me on these issues because I'm really like, I got a line, but it's so woke. And even though we're in Tennessee, we're in Tennessee, but it's so woke like that to me, that's not acceptable. And there's no authority and kids want to be called different names, all these androgynous names, like they want to be called plant names and weird things. And the teachers have to call them these names all year. And then one of my good friends, she's a 8th grade English honors teacher. She lives down the street from me. And she said that she was calling this kid a preferred name all year. But come parent teacher conference, the kid says, oh, Miss Teacher, please don't call me that in front of my parents. They don't know I go by that at school. So here's the teacher calling this kid a name that the parents do not approve of all year. So the teachers and admin getting walked over. So all over. I don't like that. And so there's other things. So I don't like how the system is going. I don't like the government overreach. And then there's another factor, another side of it. And it is how our society has been moving as a country and how we're being programmed. And it's been going on for a really long time. And I'm waking up now to the fact that we should be raising our children, not the government, right? So the government has our kids from their most formidable years, from kindergarten, and then they're pushing. I forget what country is pushing school starting at age 2. I saw that.
Oh my God!
I don't know
who.
Oof. I forget what country it is, but I saw it in the news on some, flipping through my phone. Oh, cute doggy.
Oh yeah. And just happy.
And so kids are in school from 9 months, daycare 9 months, because we have to work we have to work for 30 years. We have to work 40 hours a week. So is that by design? Our 30-year mortgages by design to keep us in the workforce so that we have to keep our kids under the thumb of the government so that they're raising our children with their ideals from 9 months. Some countries want to push for 2 years mandatory school starting age when ours is 6 years or 7 years now old. And then until 18 and then longer. So the most formidable years that your children are learning and observing and learning to become who they are and forming their opinions. Whose opinions are they learning? Because they're not our opinions, because for them, I have seen so many children turn complete opposite of their parents going through the public education system. Their
Yeah.
beliefs have been completely changed. They're being, I say brainwashed, and teachers are good people. A lot of my friends are teachers. Some people just don't know, you're just oblivious to what's going on. You're just sucked into it too. You don't know what you're really doing, and the thing is, the agenda is that you're pushing on people. So I don't like that aspect either. So there's like quite a lot of things.
I love it. I mean, you're passionate about it. It's that kind of passion that's going to make you really dive in and understand. So now that you've clicked the button, I'm sure you've done some research. What does this mean for you? I mean, what does a homeschool parent responsible for? Like first grade,
Yeah.
junior, it seems like a lot, but really I have no idea.
So even though I have all these beliefs, Michael, and I'm just like, we're leaving. I still don't know if it's the right decision, right? Maybe private school is better. Maybe they have to go back to public school. I don't know. I'm gonna try it for a year and see how it goes. I know some kids, they get depressed, they hate it. And so they need to go back to some sort of being around more people and the formalities that, comes with all of that. So I'm going to try. But the things that I'm going to be responsible for are going to be making sure that all their other needs are met. Now, one thing I'm trying to understand, and that the long-term veteran homeschool parents I'm trying to pick up from them, is that school at home is not school at home. We
Oh,
don't need to
okay.
do school at home traditional sense that school is done at school. So we don't need to say, okay, we're going to be here from 8 o'clock in the morning until 3 p.m. and we're going to do all these subjects.
Yeah.
Now, however, if they go back to school, which is why I mentioned that, they do have to keep up with state standards. And I don't know if I'm still not sure if I want to homeschool my daughter through high school. I don't know if that's the right path. I loved school. So for me to say the kids aren't going to go to school is huge for me, because I've been a believer in school and education. I love school. High school was the best time of my life. I became who I was going through high school. People hated high school. I loved high school. So for my daughter not to have that experience, I don't know, like that's hard. So the things that I have to make sure that I do at least now is keep them on track with state standards in case they go back to school. My
Mhm.
daughter is in what is slated to be in Algebra 1 honors, advanced physical science, and ELA English language honors this year. I need to make sure that she keeps those equivalent of those classes so she can move on if she goes to high school and take geometry honors and take all these extra classes and not have to be behind because she's taken stupid, dumb, easy math at homeschool or something. So we're taking curriculum, still doing the curriculum, the core English, writing, math, and science my kids are going to do. History, I feel like, is all fake. So I feel like all the history that the kids have learned in schools and all the history I've learned, right? History is written by the victor. So it's all skewed. It's all wrong. I don't believe in half the history that's out there. So we're going to be doing different books. I looked into the Tuttle twins. So we might be checking out some of their American history books, but at least all the kids will be doing American history. That's what's Tennessee standards say. First grade, fifth grade, and eighth grade are actually all doing American history. So we can all do American history together. So what that's going to look like for me is I have to make sure that I plan out their days, that they each get the individualized help that they need. I want to do some books. Some stuff's going to be online just because it's better that way, like math. There's some really good math curriculums that are online that they're going to do. And I'm going to make sure that they're in extracurriculars as well. So I bought my middle son a guitar. He starts guitar lessons on Wednesday. My daughter's going to stay doing band, but she's going to join the local symphony and be in their wind ensemble and still play her flute. My little son starts piano lessons on Wednesday. So they're going to get music and get extracurriculars that way. I'm going to have my daughter join a debate team and starting this fall. And now all three kids can do speech and debate. So it's like, well, what things are they lacking in school and how can I make them a better person at home? So the things that they are lacking is confidence. Believe it or not, my kids don't have a lot of self-confidence. So that's one thing that school hasn't done well for them. And I have a lot of self-confidence. And I'm like, well, why don't my kids have self-confidence? Maybe I'm too mean. Maybe I'm too harsh of a mom. Maybe I put them down too much. Like, I don't know. You always go through all the things, tell them that they suck, here and there. So I think being able to speak out and have a voice, be able to form an opinion and is very important. So they're going to be doing some sort of speech and debate. Now, for sure, my daughter, I don't think I'm going to make my first grader do it, although it does start at 6, but I might make my almost 11-year-old do the speech because you have to talk in front of people, form
Yeah.
opinions and all those things. So I want to make sure that they're doing a lot of extracurriculars. They have plenty of friends. And the homeschool world out here in Memphis is huge, in the suburbs. It's huge. And there are a lot of homeschool groups, and there's the Memphis Homeschool Area Association. And so then they have prom, they have graduations, they have field trips. So they have all those things that schools have. We can do those too. I just got an email today, just like I get an email once a week from public school with all the happenings. I get an email too. So they're not really going to miss out on the social aspect, but I have to make sure that they are learning, that they're doing well, and that my goal is for them to create a love for learning versus I have to learn. I have to go to school. I want them to love to learn. So that's one thing I'm trying to flip around.
So what I hear you saying is, obviously you care deeply for your kids. That's very clear. You don't like what was happening by, some rigid system who's now letting, cats go to school, whatever that is about. And you've just complicated your life. Your life's going to be more complicated going forward.
Yes.
But it's a trade-off that you as a mom would do any day of the week for your kids.
I think it's worth it, and I will say my brick by brick wealth, my coaching program and all that, I'm still going to do some facet of that, but I'm not going to be able to do it in the fashion that it was before. Not because I can't do that work. I love it and I would have time for it, but it's the marketing behind the scenes that takes up the extra time that I'm not going to have. So I would love to have the clients, but I'm not going to have the time to be able to market to get them.
No.
So
job number one is a mom, right? Job number one's mom.
Job number one is I want to make sure my kids, I want to give them the best year that I can. Let's give it a try. And we're going to travel and we're going to do some things in the US. My goal is the first day of school. When everyone's going to school, we're getting in the car and we're leaving.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, really.
I like that. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
well, folks,
doing things different.
Folks, do us a favor. If you have any experience with homeschooling, if you know anybody in your close network who has homeschooled, would love to make some connections for Casey, give some advice, experience, some do's and don'ts. Let's make sure Casey and her kids really enjoy this next year and move forward. Casey, where can people follow you?
People can follow me on Instagram at Brick by Brick Wealth. You can find me on my website, brickbybrickwealth.com, and YouTube, Brick by Brick Wealth.
Very, very cool. Well, Casey, you're amazing. I look forward to seeing what happens this year. It should be fun and amazing. Good luck.